Welcome back. It's your best friends. It's Austin.
And it's Sean.
And
It's Josh.
it's Josh, my boy, Josh Montgomery, as some people call him, J Monty. And I always thought they were saying J Money.
J
and I was
Money.
real
J Money.
confused. Maybe they were. And then I don't
Some
know.
people were for sure.
On purpose?
It was on purpose, but for good reasons. So it's definitely not the nickname, at least on my side. Maybe some people felt that way, but definitely people were hearing that. If you say J Money really quick, it can sound like J Money.
Yeah.
But, I think
the T goes away.
Yeah, you don't want to hit it too hard. It's a little more effort than is necessary.
It is gentlemanly though. J Monty. It turns a nickname into like not a nickname though. If you pronounce it too much, sounds too
right.
It's
not a
short
form.
that informal thing and makes it
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is well, I mean, nicknames they come about for different reasons, right? There's one where the primary thing is to shorten it, and then there's also like pet names or just I don't know what would you call it, like just names out of tradition,
Yeah.
I don't. Then you got to respect however you're supposed to pronounce it, no matter if it's a little cumbersome.
I don't like
So I guess
nicknames. We just talked about this last episode. I don't like.
We were talking about pet peeves.
Or 2 episodes ago.
No, I think it was last.
It's a pet peeve.
It's a pet
You
peeve.
don't
Yeah, it's like a
Last
pet
is-
peeve. I don't know. I don't like nicknames. Like, how often do I call you J Monty?
Small percentage. I feel like I hear it every now and then.
Maybe every now and then.
I think maybe when you're like addressing me to someone else, but not when you're talking to me.
Yeah, no.
But people you're close to, I don't know, you don't call them by a name at all much. You know what I mean?
Hey, you just say, hey, yo.
I mean, you're talking to them. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
know you don't have to get their attention. Someone out in the world,
True.
they're not expecting to talk to you. There's no obvious connection. So you have to be like, hey, I'm talking to you, or hey, I am there's some intro. So you got to call them something to address them. But
I don't have to.
This is my dog.
you don't have to do anything.
That's what I say. This is my dog.
I was gonna say the amount of
What's his
times I've been
name?
introduced as that.
Don't know.
Like, dude,
Yeah, by
this
me.
is my dog. I'd be like,
That's how I introduce the dogs to other dogs.
This is true.
That's the right way.
I think that's actually
my
what you
opinion.
said when you introduced me to Josh. Like, dude,
This is my
dog.
dog. 100%.
Sounds about right.
There's 100% chance that happened. This is my dog right here. Yeah, I could feel it. I feel like I'm having flashbacks. That is my dog right there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's a nickname.
That's not a nickname though. That's just a
What
term
is
of
it?
endearment. I thought about that. I thought about bringing that up when we talked about this. Term of endearment versus pet peeve.
Well, that's
think a
like
term of
saying-
endearment. Like bro, that's not a nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. I agree, but also it is less formal. I agree with you, and that is more like when you said my dog, the way you're saying it, there's meaning behind it. That's why I feel it. So you would just have to define for me exactly what a nickname would be then. Like what are all the parameters that it is and isn't, because we might be calling certain things. Because I would say that, like, maybe you don't call him that all the time, but you did call him that. Like, that's my dog. That's my dog. You didn't say that's Sean. You use a different name.
In that context, that's like a synonym to my friend, though. And I would say that saying
Yeah.
somebody is my friend isn't a nickname.
That's
either,
not a
though.
nickname.
Yeah.
But you did it. Okay. All right. Maybe
That's
I'm
just like my
getting
really good friend.
too into the details, but you didn't say, oh, my friend Sean. You said, this is my dog. There's like a thing behind it when you're saying it. Some emotion.
It's just emotion. It's not a nickname. It's just emotion.
All right. That's fine. I won't die on the hill that has to be a nickname.
You guys know what that's fine means, right? Everyone who's listening knows that that's fine means that's not fine. So Josh will text me about this later and he'll be mad for the next week.
I'm
That's okay.
pissed right now. I don't see this
So
feeling
angry.
going away.
Can't you see it in
He's
his
fuming.
face? He's so mad. That's what he does when he's mad. He smiles
You would see the steam coming out of my-
uncontrollably. I
if I didn't
would.
have this.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you got the lids on.
That's right.
Anyway, that was good. So Sean, how was your week?
uh, it was good. I've been pretty much just working.
Yeah, it's been your first full week, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because last week was we had Monday. Everyone had Monday off last week.
Well, it's that
Or
this
wait.
week was Monday off, dude. I had the same thought for a second. My brain. Yeah, this past Monday work was
Whoa.
off, and then last week I had a full week.
Well, my brain just broke. Yeah, obviously it doesn't matter, but anyway.
But yeah, I mean that's about it. Not a whole lot. New, just kind of hanging out, doing the thing. How about you?
Way better than last week.
Yeah,
was,
did you get over your sickness?
Yeah, I was sick. I've still been dealing with like some sinus infection stuff. My voice still sounds a little different, and like I get like sinus headaches. My teeth start to hurt because my sinuses are like pushing on them. But definitely way better, way better.
That's intense.
So
I
that's
feel like
good.
I haven't gotten a sick, like bad sinuses to the point that teeth hurt. That's
No,
interesting.
I don't think I've ever felt this. Maybe like, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, but it's been a long time. Yeah.
It's intense.
What about you, Josh? Actually, since this is your first time, how was your last forever? Not your week, but your forever. Or your week, whatever you know what? Say whatever you want to say.
Whatever you want.
So it's just open. We can talk about
Yeah.
Yeah.
any length of
Any
past.
time frame. Nothing in the future though.
It's for some reason harder to answer when you
I'm
when you
sorry.
say
How was
that.
your week?
No. I'm sure me talking about any length of time is gonna melt into like a larger thing. But most recently, let's see, this time a week ago, I was trying to get ready for V's, like just trying to put together a little gathering, a little day for her birthday, which was yesterday. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we hung out with Izzy for the first half of the day, went to eat breakfast, and then later we hung out with her cousins, had a good night in Decatur. So it wasn't anything super special, but I planned it, which I'm not good at putting together events like
Me
for,
neither.
just purely social things.
Yeah.
And then, getting gifts and all that stuff, but that's the lady. So you got to make things happen. Had an interview finally for a promotion potentially. So we'll see how
How'd
that
that
goes.
go?
We'll see. But I felt pretty decent about it. Felt
Good.
better than all my preparation. So, then you just hope. So that's been some stress off my shoulders. But other than that, man, just working hard and continuing to be more and more of a family man.
Gotcha.
And
Quite
trying
the
to fill the
transition.
roles. It is quite the transition.
Yes. Well, preemptive probable congrats on the promotion.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Whatever happens is the right thing that will happen. That's all I know.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We'll see.
Thankfully, I'm in that headspace. I think a lot of people wouldn't be. I'm trying to be thankful for that. They'd be racking their brain about it, but the decision will be made when it's made, and it will be, like you said, it'll be what it needs to be. So
Yeah.
I agree. Well, love it. I like your answers a lot. I'm glad you've had a good week, and I hope you were able to send my well wishes and happy birthday to V yesterday.
100%. She appreciates them.
Absolutely. I'm gonna pay the bills real quick. Okay. So I got this right here, HomeBiotic. We talked about this on our last episode, and this is our first sponsor of the podcast. So I got a fresh bottle here. This is not just the empty bottle. Actually, freshness in there. I can open it if you want for the evidence. So I got a stock of this stuff. Basically, it's like a probiotic for your house. So people take like probiotics for their gut.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Keep themselves
Never thought of that.
healthy. Yeah. So all the like water heavy spots in my house, like let's say the dishwasher or the washing machine specifically, or like around the sink or in the shower after I dry it off. You turn the fan on after you take a like hot shower or whatever, still steam in there. You don't want that stuff to just sit there and mold. So spray this on there. It's great. It's great. And like, I don't know how long I haven't like, put a thing on the calendar like, oh, I started the bottle today. Let's see how long it lasts. But I'll just say anecdotally with no numbers at all, lasts like really long time, just one bottle. And I get like 3 at a time. I think I've been using it for like maybe 3 or 4 years, and I've bought 3 bottles like 3 or 4 times. So like 3 bottles lasts a whole year.
Oh, okay.
I think it's super worth it.
It's longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you don't have to spray much. Like, it's not like you have to do it every day, 18 times a day. It's like, okay, I use this, excuse me. I use this thing that might get moldy. Let me just, dry it out, spray this on there, make sure we're good. So yeah, I'm not going to read the script today. Just figured I'd go with that. So if you want some HomeBiotic, probiotic for your home, go in the description and we got a link down there. We'll get a little commission off it. No charge to you, of course, but it's worth it. I think it's great.
Yeah, if people have listened to our podcast before, you'll know that we've talked about mold and how really shitty that can be to have in your house. It can be really detrimental to your house. So it's definitely a good thing. I need to pick up a bottle.
Sure. Do it. Use our link.
Do it. I'll use our link. Yeah. Yes.
Also, on a somewhat related note, so Josh, what are you drinking right now? Tell me what you're drinking. No, the other thing? What about the other thing?
I swapped them out. That fly, by the way, he's still kicking in there.
Oh, so you're not drinking that anymore?
Nah, not drinking it.
You were drinking some cold brew coffee though.
Yes.
Caffeinated.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Just for context, It's like 8 p.m. But Josh is a trooper, so he said he's being a family man, and that sounds like what a family man does.
Drink coffee at 8 p.m. That's right.
Sacrifice the sleep for the good of the tribe.
Just trying to be alert, trying to be my best self.
I respect it. I ordered some new coffee today, and it's called Danger Coffee. We've talked about it on the podcast once, actually.
Yes.
Like a long time ago. There's this guy named Dave Asprey who is like all into, biohacking and feeling his best self, let's say, like Josh was saying, trying to be your most alert best self. And, does this, that, and the other, and builds companies around those tenets. And he made like a new coffee, and I'm going to try it. Sean and I are going to try it together, and we'll see what we think. We'll let you guys know what we think.
Yeah, we'll bring on to the podcast and have a little review.
Yeah.
Maybe we can review it on the podcast. Like,
that's a good idea, actually.
Because we're really close. We can have a podcast in person.
That's a really good idea.
Try it
Look at
live.
that. That's going to happen.
Yep.
We'll do it live.
It's in the books.
Is there anything special about the coffee as far as the biohacking goes, or is it just good coffee?
Yeah, laser vision, invisibility.
You actually, whenever you drink it, you get this like screen, and it's like pick your superpower, and then you click it.
Yeah.
That's obviously false.
It's about time someone made that.
Obviously, dude, I believed you for a second.
Well, I'm a good salesman. Anyway, what was I saying?
Danger Coffee.
Is there anything good about it? Yeah, so it's mold free. He has like a specific process. Speaking of HomeBiotic, it's like there's a lot of mold toxins in coffee. Supposedly, that's controversial, by the way, which is pretty ridiculous. It is definitely flat out facts that there's mold toxins in coffee. But anyway, he has like a mold free process, and then he decided to remineralize the coffee beans with this new like formulation. So I don't know. We'll see. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. I can't speak on it, but
yeah.
We'll see.
I probably ask people to speculate on things more than I should. I love speculating. Telling myself I don't know.
It's important. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll have a better answer for you in like a week.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the website, and it's just saying like minerals and electrolytes, stuff like that, just embedded into the coffee beans just through the processing.
So does that stuff matter? Is that real? you know, minerals
I
and
mean,
stuff.
minerals are definitely real. Electrolytes and metals are definitely real.
I just have never seen them. That's all. Never like.
You have seen minerals though. You've seen metals.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Someone would say
I-
that.
Someone in the world, yeah.
Mold's
That
not
HomeBiotic
real.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
I
just
haven't-
water. That's what someone would say.
Water's good for you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Why would you want to
know,
get rid
what's
of
the
it?
Take it in another form.
Yeah. Why would you spray something on water? I drink that. Yeah.
All right, so that HomeBiotic stuff. How long
Yeah.
you said you've been using it for? 3 years or so.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years. Any place, like a lot of windowsills even get moldy over time because like moisture will condense. I almost said condensate, by the way. That would have been embarrassing. Moisture will condense.
Conversating about that.
Yeah, exactly. Condense on the window, and then it'll just sit there and sit there and sit there. So it'll like run down into the track where you move the window up, get moldy there. So I've had to deal with that. So I like treat the mold. Never came back when I used this HomeBiotic. I was telling a story on the last episode, washing machine we got, and it's like a front load washer. You have a front load washer, Josh, or a top load washer?
Front.
Yeah. So this front load, you know, that silicone ring that goes around to like help seal off, and there's like
Mhm.
kind of like underneath, there's this little lip, and it like holds water. Water sits there for like way too long on most of those washers. So I'll go in there and dry it out. It's inevitable. I'm probably not going to get everything dry. So then I'll go through and spray this. I would say at least half the time that we've run the washing machine. So there's not like standing water sitting in there. And in case there is, I got some HomeBiotic, the natural probiotic for my home.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
that idea sounds I don't know. It's just one of those things that I've never thought of, but it seems kind of obvious. Like if you got gut health, bacteria is everywhere. Why are you not? You got to be looking, I don't know, looking out for it in all the places and the other environment that is right outside you is your home. So that's
I
good.
agree.
Do you feel like the effects in a significant way, like personally
mold?
or in general? Yeah, or mold, or
Yes.
like now the absence of mold.
The absence of mold. Yeah. So I lived in a moldy house when I was younger. I had like bad eczema, and I would get congestion, like almost constant congestion. And I had to be on like allergy pills pretty much all the time. And it was not like, oh, I am definitely allergic to something in the environment. Let me take an allergy pill. It was like all the time. And I used to get a bunch of ear infections and stuff. And it was like, you know, seemingly a mystery as to why these things were occurring. And then someone in my family, probably my mom and some other people, kind of put two and two together, and they were like, we gotta get out of this house. So got out of the house. It was like, I don't know the exact time frame, but them telling the story back to me, they're like, yeah, it was a matter of like a week. 100% of all that was just gone, like cured forever, because I was no longer in that moldy environment. And it was black mold. It wasn't just like, you know, innocuous like white mold that you would get on a raspberry. It was like the black mold. That's, I think they, you know, I'm not a mycologist, but Stachybotrys is like the species. Anyway, yeah. So it definitely affected me heavily then, and I would get these like weird rashes that weren't eczema related, and they were like, oh yeah, you have this bacterial infection, and it's like take antibiotics and it doesn't really change anything, and then it would just like kind of go away on its own, and then I get something else. So it was all these like random weird symptoms when I was exposed to mold. So yes, the absence of it for sure, and I have a certainly healthy fear of it from that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it affects people differently, because I mentioned on the podcast last time that I had a friend that had a horrible mold problem in his apartment in Florida, and it was like to the point where he'll like, you know, he'll clean it and then he'll like go to bed, and the next day it'll just be like growing on like he said his Nintendo Switch had mold on it like overnight. It was really bad. It was really horrible. He isn't as horribly affected by it as like I would say your case, but definitely affected to the point where like he was telling me he was like more tired and just like brain foggy. And it was like the moment like he could tell that like just general like well-being and like how he felt was just much better once he moved out of there. So yeah, it affects
So
people in varying ranges.
what is the bacteria? What is it? Just it's got clouds of stuff coming off of it. Like what is
Yeah,
how
it's
is
like
it
the
affecting?
mold. The mold creates toxins, and toxins are airborne, and then you breathe in those toxins. I don't know the toxins names off the top of my head, like ochratoxin A. They're like all kind of different names, but produces toxins. Those toxins get airborne. You breathe in the toxins, and then it triggers most likely some kind of immune response, and then now you're feeling like crap for this, that, and the other reason because your body's trying to fight this toxic load. So you feel some form of sick perpetually.
That's a bad trade-off to having such luxurious shelters. I feel like
I know.
humans and have to worry about that. At least not in this way, without all these, like you're saying, all these little crevices and like, all the other places in society where there's just, standing water or sitting water and stuff. So
yeah, 100%. No, I agree. I agree. This is, you know what? I need to share my screen. I have an article, okay? And start broadcast. I probably look like a boomer right now. All right. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, would you look at that? What is that? Though? Brought to you by Cloud Music Suite. Home for private music lessons. So let me just browse instructors real quick. I got someone to show you.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh man.
There he is. I'm just gonna click on him. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. No particular reason I'm pulling him up, but that's my boy. Anyway,
it's a young guy.
Brought to you by Cloud Music Suite. Since what year, Sean?
1896.
That is a long time ago.
What a good year.
We've been killing the game. Yes. I remember that year like it was yesterday.
Dude,
all right. So here is our article. So this guy, you guys have you heard of him? The Liver King.
Dude, I just learned about him a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
No.
Josh, have you heard of him?
I'm meeting him right now.
You're meeting him. He's definitely a character. So he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was mentioned at least. I don't think he was on there as a guest, but he was mentioned at some point, and I think that clip went pretty viral. And he has kind of taken social media by storm for a few reasons. I mean, he's definitely like a lot to take in. He's a large man. He's got a huge beard, and he eats a bunch of raw meat. So I'm not going to go through and read this whole thing, but kind of the short and long of it is he has these like 9 ancestral tenets. And I just wanted to like read off the tenets themselves, and we can read this article. This is someone else's take on his stuff, kind of somewhat satirical, it seems. But anyway, so there's these 9 ancestral tenets. Here are the tenets: sleep, eating, moving, shielding, connecting, cold, sun, fight, I guess like fighting, and bonding. And he kind of goes through individual things of like how to sleep the right way, not to have it gets pretty controversial pretty quick. So like turn your Wi-Fi off on your phone, put your phone on airplane mode when you sleep, try to sleep in a relatively dark room that's kind of cold. And then he has other specifics too, like probably don't use polyester sheets, probably use cotton sheets. And then the eating one is the one that gets him a lot of flack.
Yeah, this is what he's known for, right?
Yeah. So he eats like they say like nose to tail animal based diet. He does eat some, fruits, some honey, some vegetables, like mostly like potatoes and stuff, but pretty much just meats, organ meats, bone marrow, drinks like, cow's blood, stuff like that. So very much the ancestral diet in terms of someone who would be in a hunter-gatherer tribe hunting an animal, and then it's like, hey, this is what we've got to eat. And they know that liver is very healthy. So they're going to eat the liver first, and then they're going to cook the muscle meat and eat the muscle meat after they've cooked it. But typically they eat the organs raw. And he does that, like, in 2022, and tries to live to his best ability what he considers to be an ancestral lifestyle. So just first takes. Let's go first takes.
It sounds like whatever, regardless of his opinions on those specific things, I feel like those 9 tenets, and I'm sure they could be more or less by a couple, those all seem like pretty incontroversial, important aspects of life, like to do them right, just to say them and be like, hey, be good at eating, be good at moving, all these things, like that seems like a good, like, kind of like structure or like skeleton to think about. And then I guess you can have whatever opinion on everything else. But the eating thing is definitely interesting because, oh, well, what is it? I kind of just have questions about his lifestyle, and then just thinking about it.
We'll get into that in just a sec.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
But no, I agree. Like the 9 things, I think you should be on a personal journey for each one of those 9 things anyway, right? And I think the one that says cold, it's kind of more like, hey, be uncomfortable. Go be cold, and then be in the sun. Like, yep.
I'm there with that.
Who's gonna disagree? Shield, protect yourself from things that make you weak.
And your friends and family.
Yep. And then, you have to be good at eating, but everyone should be on their personal journey. If right now the part of the personal journey you're on is, a lot of fast food, I'm not going to get into specifics, but like a lot of fast food and stuff that's generally not good for you, to hear something like this where he's like, well, you got to ditch that and start eating raw liver today. Dude, that's so far away. So yeah, I agree. You can have your own specifics inside of them, but I think the 9 are pretty damn important.
Yeah.
What's your first take, Sean?
Yeah, I pretty much had the same reaction. Like we didn't get into the specifics, but like when you were just reading all of those things, I was like, yes. Like all those things seem like good principles or tenets to live by, or good like areas of life and health to focus your energy and attention on. This GIF is wild, by the way.
Okay.
I'm just leaving it there.
It's definitely flavoring the
I'll
conversation slightly.
It's fine.
Okay.
By not making any testicles.
Yeah, so I want to get distracted by the GIF, whatever. I want to say something on food, because that's kind of where it seems like we want to talk, because that's the most controversial thing he says. I think, I like his message. His message is pretty clear to me, and I think it's a good one. And I'm glad that he's like taken social media by storm. I think it's better for someone like this to take social media by storm, who is, we'll say, on the fringes, not necessarily mainstream, but is challenging the status quo. I always think it's important to challenge what is right now. Anyone who knows me personally in real life, I'm very much about challenging what it is right now, like, or what it has been. Like, well, why are we doing that? Because it's been that way. Why? Couldn't we just do it like this and it would be better? It's like, and everyone has like this resistance toward changing. So at least brings up some thoughts in people's brains, hopefully. But anyway, he eats a lot of raw eggs. He eats all the organs of an animal, liver, raw sometimes, not raw sometimes, bone marrow, raw sometimes, not raw sometimes. And from what I've understood, the goal is to get as many nutrients as possible without all the, what some people are calling like anti-nutrients, as I've heard it before. So there's certain things that unequivocally, no matter what you look at, if you eat them, they cause inflammation at some level in your body. So if, the death by 1,000 cuts argument kind of reigns supreme whenever someone like this is talking about their way of eating. So it's like, yes, that one little cut is not going to hurt me, meaning that one little piece of food that contains this one nutrient is not going to kill me. That's the idea. That's what people would say who are like, well, why would you? What? But if you're doing it 3, 4, 5 times a day in every single food you eat for years, now we're talking about that one cut times 1,000, you're going to bleed out and die, is the analogy. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, he talks about eating 6 raw eggs at a time. Duck fat, eats protein shakes apparently that are processed. Yeah, this guy's not really a fan of this gentleman's diet, but yeah. He also owns a supplement company. Oh, that GIF is not probably the best thing to look. Move from that. There is him eating some bull testicles right there.
All right.
So yeah, what do you guys think about eating raw meat? That's a question.
I mean, I'll speak on just meat generally speaking. I mean, I feel like meat's pretty important. I think Austin, you and I have talked about this before about just like there's so many different ways to eat, and a lot of people are trying to experiment not having meat as a part of the diet, and then a lot of people are trying to only eat meat. I think meat's important in some way, shape, or form, if it's just like a little bit, because it is essentially a multivitamin. It has so much nutrients, and that like if you're trying to get the nutrients from plants, you'd have to get it from a bunch of different sources, and then you have stuff that just doesn't come from plants, like collagen, creatine, stuff like that. So I think it's pretty important to eat. And then it's like if you look at some individuals that have like autoimmune disorders, I feel like things like carnivore diets like have shown to actually like improve people's health in that regard. I like the thought experiment of stuff like this.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something I could do, eating just raw meat, but I definitely like the thought experiment and the idea of like going back to like this primal way of living, because I don't know, it redefines what is healthy today by going back and seeing what was healthy in the past, and I think that's pretty cool.
Fair point. What do you think about that, Josh? Just raw meat or meat in general?
I don't know. I have a question more than the take. Do you know? I haven't read through the article, even though I'm looking at it. But why does he eat the meat raw as opposed to cooking it?
Yeah, that's what I was
going
to ask, actually.
Are you losing nutrients? And then I've heard some people, not done my own research, but they say that like cooking meat historically coincided maybe with some other like major human evolution things.
No, yeah,
so
I've heard that as well. So I don't know exactly what the reason for eating specifically raw meat and organs is. I would assume to, cut down on denaturing enzymes and denaturing protein and denaturing, or, making sure you're not oxidizing a fat. But I've also heard like eating raw meat, you don't get as much nutrients from it as you think you actually are, because cooking some of it, like let's say we have a steak and you put a hard sear on the steak. So you've cooked the outsides of the steak and then maybe a little bit as you go in, but then if you have a rare steak, all that red stuff in the middle is, I mean, depending on how rare you like it, it is raw.
Yeah.
That it's or very lightly heated, because really, really rare steaks, like you touch them, they're not warm in the center. I've heard that is more of an advantage way of eating, because then you get the best of both worlds. So I don't really understand fully the eating raw meat. It seems kind of like a gimmick. He might have his reason, but I know he eats cooked meat as well. So it's not just like he eats it raw, but yeah, there's got to be some reason.
Yeah,
I would say it's probably because
it could be the primal look.
Yeah, could be a marketing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because look at those 2 images. Like,
yeah,
you're gonna get clicks. You're gonna get clicks. And if you look at this top image, look at that. What was that, a huge beef liver or something?
Yeah,
that's gonna get you clicks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like that he eats like every part of the animal too. I think that's something that a lot of people don't consider, especially when they think about like health effects of eating meat or like beef or something like that. Because what people are thinking about is like a hamburger, or like
Yeah.
people who eat a steak every day, or like ground beef. There's a lot of different parts of the animal that do a lot of different things that could do a lot of good for you.
Yeah,
So,
probably eating muscle meat all the time is, yeah, I'd say not the best decision. I do it a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't, but like you were saying, this is a good thought experiment. It's made me think, like, maybe I should just switch it up. And if I am going to eat meat again the next day, why don't I eat liver? Harder to source.
Is he killing most of his own animals to eat
Yeah,
this
he has
stuff
his own
raw?
farm, and he has like, I don't know how many acres, but he has a bunch of land, and then he'll hunt in the wild as well. But
Okay.
yeah, he
I
does
assume that would make
raise
that
his own cows.
that's got to make a pretty big difference. I feel like in the like maybe it steps out of the just the nutritious side of things, but just the process by which you're going about like getting the meat, like maybe in some psychological way, but then also like that meat that he has, like that's not the same as you getting liver from the store and like trying to eat
Very, yeah,
store food raw, but
very
it's
true.
still meat.
Yeah, I'm not personally gonna eat store food raw. Like I would want to know. I even like raw milk is pretty frowned upon, and I had someone offer me raw milk one time, and I like before I drank it, I asked them a bunch of questions, like a lot of questions, because it was from their own cow, and yeah, like I had way too many questions. I was anxious, like I was actually legitimately nervous because I was like, I'm about to drink this raw milk. I've been told like my whole life that it has to be pasteurized and all that so that we can kill the bacteria. Because I got a bio degree, so we have like a whole case study about Louis Pasteur. Anyway, so all these like thoughts are running through my head, and I'm like asking him what the cow's been fed and like if it was like healthy and happy, and I'm like,
so did you drink
I'm
it?
gonna get sick. I did.
If I'm gonna get sick, I want it to be from a happy cow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Happy cow.
I just wanted to know if I was gonna throw up 15 minutes later. I didn't. I was good. I was fine.
Have you ever had liver or like?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had liver. So I cooked some. Every time I've cooked it with a bunch of onions. So I mean, apparently that like cuts down on the liver taste. I thought it was pretty good. I kind of
That's how my mom used to make liver at home.
Yeah, sear it in a cast iron pan. Put some onions in there, and then you just salt and pepper or whatever you want to do both sides. It's pretty good. Some people say it smells horrible when you cook it, so I don't know. I would like to eat more liver though. Not just because of the Liver King, but he's a nice reminder.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to get a beard looking like that too. That's dope.
You're pretty close.
It's impressive.
Just gotta get
He's
some
an
more
impressive
on the side.
He's a specimen, this
He
guy.
is definitely a specimen. He's a huge mofo.
Yeah, go down to where he was holding those kettlebells. That's a mountain of a man right there. Look at this guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Look
he
at the
has this
strength
like whole.
just coming out of him.
I
Man.
can feel it. I'm getting stronger as we speak.
Regardless if you agree with him on anything, you just respect that guy.
Yeah, he is a specimen. Yeah,
even if you wouldn't admit it out loud, if some people, hate his ideas or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
I agree.
What a guy.
Well, there's the article.
Yeah, that's a good article. Wait, we need to rate the website.
Dude, I think there were some ads on the right, but it was like the guy who wrote the article was pimping his own shit. I respect that.
I want to say like 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd say a 7. It was kind of long-winded.
Yeah.
We always rate the website, Josh. So if you want to rate it out of 10.
What do you think?
No, I got no rate. I don't spend enough time looking at websites I feel like I'll just go.
He only looks at cloudmusicsuite.com. That's the only website
and he's like, and this is a 10, so I can't even.
This is a 10, baby. It's the only website he'll look at.
Oh my god. Yeah.
There's one other one, but we won't mention that one. Anyway. So, Sean, you got some rapid fire hypotheticals?
Yeah, let's do some hypothetical questions. All right, I think I have 6 of them, maybe 7 of them. How we're gonna do them is, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. We're just gonna try to go around in a circle, answer as quick as possible, and try not to simmer on it. So
Certain order.
we can just go. I don't know. Austin, Josh, then me. How about that?
Perfect. That's what I was thinking. Josh, is that what you were thinking?
That's what's
I
on my
wasn't,
screen.
but
And
I'm down with it.
All right.
counterclockwise for.
I'm being honest. I thought about saying yes, but it would have been a lie.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
I'm glad
I
you're
like the
honest.
honesty.
It would have sounded better if all three of us had thought the same thing.
Yeah, I thought that too.
It would be really cool.
All right, Austin. Are you ready?
I'm listening. Yeah, I'm ready.
You are offered a pill that increases your intelligence by 50%, but also permanently removes your hair, including your brows. Do you take it?
No.
Josh.
What about you, Josh?
Yes.
No.
Wow.
Interesting. I was really excited to ask you that question, Austin.
No, I no. I guess if I was smart enough, I don't know if 50% boost would get me smart enough to figure out hair regrowth to a level that would be back to normal. So I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah.
And I don't think if I was 50% smarter, I don't think I'd be 50% happier. I don't think I'd be 50% wealthier.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I routinely look. I don't really routinely think about like my intelligence and just think, man, if I only had fucking 50% boost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no, me either.
But I do look at my hair in the mirror every day. Think about what
And
that
you're
looks
like, look how
so
sexy
look how
I
good
am.
I am. Cool. That was a good one. I was excited to ask
Next
you about
one.
that.
Next one.
All right. What show would you like to had to be trapped? Wait, what? That is the weirdest question. All right. If you had to be trapped in a TV show, what would it be for a month?
Trapped for a month.
Yes.
Oh, I'm stalling. All right. Trapped.
This one's like kind of a hard one to
for a
think
month.
about off the go. get-go.
Man, this is probably a bad answer, but Another Life.
Wait, what is
Have
that?
you seen that TV show? It's like it's a space TV show where they're on this spacecraft called the USS Salvare, and they're trying to make their trek back to Earth. And it's like really tumultuous and crazy. So probably a bad pick because I might die, but it'd be pretty dope and quite the experience.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, dude, I knew
Nice.
you were gonna say that.
You knew
I
that?
felt it because about 2 months ago you told me you'd been watching it a lot.
Yeah.
Nice. It's on
That's
Netflix now, isn't it? Or something? Hulu,
Yep.
maybe? Nice.
It is on Netflix.
Peaky Blinders. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped into my head.
Man, that's a really they did a really good job with the set for Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, I thought about a world that is just like very, it was, I don't know, that industrial steampunky world seems dope. So that was the first thing that popped in my head. Like you said, it's probably dangerous and I would probably die, but I don't know.
Probably.
It's the first thing I think about.
Dude, you want to hear something funny about Peaky Blinders?
Yeah.
I don't remember the other character's name, but I'll just tell this story. So you know how I have like lots of hair now and it's like long and crazy. When I didn't, and I was like more closer to clean shaven, like tight around my face and like a respectable haircut, people would tell me, you remind me of Thomas Selby from Peaky Blinders. So they would say one character. And then now that I have hair and it's like longer and I'm more gruff, they would say, you remind me of so-and-so other character from Peaky Blinders. I can't remember what the other guy's name is, but I was like, that is so weird how I changed the facial appearance by having hair. And now they think I look like someone else that's in the exact same show.
You're a Peaky Blinders cast member. You're multiple Peaky Blinders cast members,
I guess. And every time I grow my hair like this, Kendall's dad will send me pictures of Civil War generals, and he'll be like, "Look at that! That's your great grandpappy." All the time, Kendall will just like turn her phone around and be like, "Look what he sent." I'm like, "Oh, there it is. That's the one for the week."
Oh my god!
A throwback to the first question as well. How important your hair is.
Oh yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
I feel like I'm 0 for 2 on questions. Figuring out.
0 for 2.
Yeah, I feel like I picked the wrong answer on both of them, even though these are opinions.
Yeah, how dare you? You gotta hit something groundbreaking on this third one.
Yes. All right. Would you
No pressure.
rather live for another 80 years and never leave your house, or live for another 10 years and be free to go wherever you want?
I'm free to go wherever I want now. So I'm going to say 10 years because I don't want to be stuck in my house. I'm going to go with the 10 years one. Sounds like a sad life to be 80 years and you're stuck there forever.
Mm,
Yeah, I go with the 10 as well.
me too.
I don't know. It seems kind of like an obvious answer, but maybe someone has a really sick house that's better than the world.
Drake, have you seen Drake's house?
Oh
Did we
my
talk about
God.
Drake's house recently? Yeah.
No.
Fuck. That thing is. Go
It's
look up
huge.
the Tusi slide video. It's in his
It's
house.
huge. Yeah, yeah. You were talking about it last time. I think you said like the comments were like, dude, he could have
The
like
comments are so funny.
4 wives and they would all not know of each
They
other.
would not know about it for years. They just keep each one in a different part of the house. They wouldn't even be mad about it. They'd be like, "Oh, this is the house. Like it's huge." And then the other 4 would also be saying the same thing about a different section of the house. And they would all be content.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way with the 10 years. I don't know. Living 80 years, that sounds sad, I guess. And I work remotely and stare at a computer all day. So
Bro, you'd just be working for it. Yeah, no.
yeah, no way.
It's very
You'd be the
unfulfilling.
richest sad guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. If they were real, can time machines change the present?
This is not a rapid fire type question.
I agree with that.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna
was-
try to be quick.
That was one I did write down, and I was like, this could turn into a conversation. I'm
I'm
interested
not,
in
I'm not gonna let
dissecting
it.
it if you want to.
We can, but I'm gonna say no. It can't affect the present because I do believe that it would just create a fork of reality, and then we'd have these 2 forks that are running side by side with 2 different realities, and one would be the changed, but you would never experience it as your future self who went backwards. You would only experience it as your future past self who is now going forwards again from the prior beginning point.
Right.
I would say no.
Mm.
Kind of like multi-dimensional, many different timelines occurring at the same time type theory. So I would say no.
I would say no as well. And I agree with what you said as an explanation, but also, I don't know, the present, I don't know. Yeah, it's very hard not to make it long. I kind of want to talk about it, but for this answer, if you're in the present moment, that is the present moment. That is that one. And then there's no other ones ever. There's only the present moment. So whatever even changing the past would be, it just is irrelevant.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's where my head was, where it's just like the present is all we have. And so I don't know, any kind of time machine that existed would be visiting something, I don't know, not something that could be influential to the thing that is as it is.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
It's
100%.
it seems very synonymous with just going to a different place, even at the same time. Like how like unaffected they are if you just went to geographically. I know it's not the same thing, but it's like what I do here is not affecting. I mean, you can make that argument, but somewhere halfway across the world or another part of the universe, it's like that's time as well. They're just kind of sitting in the same plane of existence, but they're just not the same thing. They're not occupying the same coordinate on that plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
But I guess they're connected. Oh no, sorry. Are there more rapid fires? That one. I really want to talk about that one.
There are, but we can talk about it.
I want to speculate because I don't know shit. I don't know shit about shit, but I like to talk about shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I feel like it's an interesting thought too, of like something that just like occurred in my brain. Like if you were going to the past, does that then become the present? You know what I mean?
Well, for
I
you,
mean,
yes.
Experientially, it has to.
Yeah.
Yes.
It must be.
But then couldn't it change the present as we know it before going back in the past? You know what I mean? Saying? Like, I mean, the present becomes the future at that point.
Exactly.
So
No, your prior present becomes the future, but that's in the past. So no.
Okay. Well, yeah, you made that one place all 3 times. Okay,
Look,
if you go
I
back,
don't.
you go
Yes.
back in the past, that is you going forward in some timeline. That is some form of
Right.
future, but it's in some form a past, and it is also your present at right then. So at that time that you're there in the past.
I just think
Yeah.
it's
Right.
funny how we're viewing like time like this like fucking
Linear.
Sidewalk. It's not.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Right.
Well, I don't want to say it's not.
Right.
I definitely don't.
As a
think it's,
chemistry
like,
teacher.
valuable to like talk about it as a like like a sidewalk, and then one of those blocks of the sidewalk is like the present moment, and then all the other ones are the past, and like, nah.
It's a simple way of
That's
visualizing.
always, yeah, I know, but it just is like it presents
not-
these types of problems.
I think that's a untrue view.
It's
I guess
infinitely
depending on your
frustrating.
perspective. Well, okay, I don't know. I guess I've been like studying my mind in some way. Like everyone does that. Everyone's on their own path of inquiring into like what's going on, what experiences, in some sense or other. But I don't know, just the idea that like all we have is the present. Like that just kind of makes it takes away that linear view of time.
Yep.
It's not even like it's all stacked on one another. It's like it sounds weird, but like that all timelines existing at one time. It's not like,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a way of thinking of it and it sounds science fiction. And then there's a way of thinking about it that sounds simple and just true. Like everything is present. So we can reference past and future by specifying a perspective that we're looking at. But like, as far as what you just experience, there's no, it's just now thinking
It's
about
just
the
now.
past or present. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just we always have this weird reference point of the self. And that weird reference point of the self makes things all annoying and junky.
Mhm.
The self gets in the way of what like the truth is, and the unequivocal truth. I like to think about that. Like there are things inherent to matter, and there are things inherent to time, and we think we have like an understanding of them, but I don't think we do.
Absolutely do not. Yeah.
Like I have this existential type question. I had it when I was in college too. Like why do we feel the need to name all these things? Why do we feel the need to try to figure out how this digestive system of this random insect works? Like I think it's super cool. Like what's the point? What does this add? What does this really add to our understanding? Like am I actually understanding more things about the natural world? Because that's what I wanted to do when I went to get a biology degree. I want to understand more about the natural world, but I felt like I just understood more of other people's probable conclusions about the things that they observed, and then we took them as fact. I don't know.
And then use them to reference future theories.
Yeah,
and then you're just like building upon things.
Not to say, oh, what if the first theory is false? Like I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that what is, and it does not really fucking matter. So let's just stop. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Doesn't matter if we understand it.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
especially like fundamental matter. Like when people are talking about like, particle physics and like it gets like deeper than that and deeper. I'm like, what? I'm not sure there's a point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it just depends on the perspective. Like you say, there's no point in a existential sense, and I agree with that. But then it's like, why do science at all? So at some point along the continuum, it makes sense to know this stuff because it's meaningful to have the lives that we have, I guess, right? Like that we can do this podcast right now. So all the science that precedes this, it's not like it's doesn't matter. It's not like it's
Excuse me.
meaningless or valueless. That's not what you're saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, yeah, if there's a value add to it, that's cool. And do we know that there's gonna be a value add to it when it's discovered? No. Someone's gonna harness that and figure out how to probably monetize it or help the world in some kind of way. I think that's a good thing. That's what's good about
Mhm.
science. But if
Mhm.
you're on a pursuit to just understand the natural world further, I don't believe textbooks are the way. I don't believe that classes are the way. I think
What's
the way to
further to
understand the
you?
natural world. What?
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
No, you're good. What were you saying?
What is going further then? So you're saying if someone's doing something with it, like monetizing it, doing something good for the world, but you're saying understanding past that. What do you mean by
Oh,
that?
I don't mean past that. I just mean I just want if someone wants to have a deeper understanding of the natural world as to like why things are the way they are and
Mhm.
what things are and why are
Okay.
they what they are and like deeper, like I guess you could argue that that's meaningless to ponder as well, but like kind of like philosophical side of the physical world. I don't know,
Yeah,
all the
the stuff that's
numbers and the theories seem not super important because
mm.
like it's right there, you're looking at it, you know. That's it. That's the thing that you're explaining.
Mm.
I don't know.
Kind of want to leave that where you placed it. I kind of want to respond, but I agree with that. Everything, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Everything is what it is. That's like without adding anything else to everything else is then like egos and perspective and reasons and stuff that is it's like a filter or a character or like some thing you're trying on, like a thing that just it changes the lens. There's this like clear, just it is what it is. But then
Yes.
we can like we can coat that with different things. Like, oh, this is what it is for me. This is what it is
Mhm.
for me wearing this hat. This is what it is for this country. This is what it is as a human. It's all these levels, but that's just yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
That's all we have. Is what is and what's right now.
yeah. I don't know how we even got to that situation, but
Nah.
I guess since we're already here, we should do a quick thought of the week because these you don't have to make it philosophical in any way, shape, or form, but if you choose to, because that's me personally, Sean can speak for himself, but I try to think like what thought has come up in my head like over and over and over this week, and each time I'll spend more time letting that thought bounce around in my head. This week, that has been just how important it is to master your finance game. Because if we go back to those tenets that the Liver King was talking about, I think one of those tenets could be security in terms of being able to provide yourself with all of those other 9 things. So if you added a 10th, it would be ability to provide for myself all the things I need in order to thrive. And I feel like those other 9, you can't just do it once and reap the rewards for years to come. You can't master it one time and it's just like, I don't really have to do that again. But with your finance game, it feels as though it's a one-time journey and you can arrive at a particular point. And once you've arrived at that particular point, you really just have to like, check in on it. Open up the bank account, make sure everything's good. Open up the stock account, make sure everything's good. Check in with the, whatever the case may be, whatever income generating sources you have that aren't a job, probably. You can master it and never have to master it again, assuming you don't completely screw up with what you've built.
feel like that allows people to go beyond the 9 tenets too, just like providing something that is meaningful to other people and to the world. It's just like,
I
okay,
agree.
I've got the bases covered. And because I have the bases covered, I now have room and time to do something that I'm passionate about. And because I have time to do the thing that I'm passionate about, that's going to potentially produce something that can be consumable, change the world,
Yes.
be innovative.
I also have another thought that piggybacks off that. 100%, I agree. And this was another thought of the week I had. If it's possible to have two on our own show, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
So much.
But I wish there were less regulations as it relates to starting a business. And I wish the government, state, local, Fed were more excited that people were starting businesses and giving more incentives for people to start businesses. We don't need to go there. What I was going to say was, it also, once you've mastered, I'll just say mastering the money game. I think that's what Tony Robbins calls it. So once you've mastered your money game and you're in a position where you're very, very comfortable and good to go, it makes me joyful, and it being able to give something to somebody else with no expectation for them to return it in any type of way. So once I don't feel like I would feel I was in a position to do that if I wasn't on a journey where I felt like I was able to master my money game. So I know a lot of churches, they do the offering and you give money to the church. I personally am not a churchgoer, so that's not my preferred method. I would rather there are people who I love and respect, and if I can assist them in whatever way, I'm going to assist them in whatever way I can. I don't think I would be able to do that if I wasn't in a particular position and I wasn't able to put the focus on the money game, we'll say. So I just think it's something that's very masterable, and it allows everything else to be easier and probably more fulfilling because there's less noise whenever you're doing those other things and you're allowed to be in the now more. Doesn't mean you will. Not everyone that has mastered the money game is happy and fulfilled, but they at least are afforded the ability to do so.
I feel like it allows you space to find yourself personally and like your relationship with yourself and how you take care of yourself, because you need to spend that time to master your money game. Like when you're mastering your money game, you need to spend that time on yourself and like, what's the Jordan Peterson thing, like set your house in order or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then once the finance game is just that's the external, like, okay, I have myself like figured out, but like ingrained in that is like, how's my health? How's my well-being? Am I well enough to be able to master the money game? And then once you get to that point, it's like, what's my relationship with money? What's my relationship with the people around me? And then you can go outside of that and start to, do good for other people, for yourself. And then, like you said, be present doing it. Yeah, I agree.
That was my thought of the week.
Nice.
Who else got other thoughts on that, or a separate thought of the week?
I have a thought of the week.
Josh, did you have any thoughts on the last?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got into a listening mode.
No,
that's fine. You're good.
Sometimes the faucet for my own opinions is just off. No, that's just making me think about how important that is. I don't know. I've had a lot of conversations with people, and there's certain topics where you're like, oh, money is not important. It is useful and all this stuff, but it's not the thing that matters. But it is interesting to think about it in that sense, because it is actually directly linked to a lot of the things that those same people would value. When you say money is not the thing that matters, I care about all these other things. It's like, well, at least living in a society, if you want to benefit from living in this society, you have to play the game that is part of the environment, and
Yes,
you need to do that well if you're going to do the other stuff well.
I agree. I just think it's so cool that we can play the game, kind of play the game once if we do it
You do the
right
things
and we're
right, yeah.
blessed. Of course, tragedy could occur, but if you're blessed enough and you do it right, you can kind of do it one time, and you don't have to do it again. And that, I agree with them at that point. Now money doesn't matter. Yeah.
I think it's important too to look at it as a tool. Like I think Tony Robbins says that a lot. He says that money's a tool. And I feel like a lot of people look at it as this binary, like, well, it doesn't matter to be happy. And then some people are like, oh, people care too much about it, or they're too greedy with it, or whatever it may be. But I think if you look at it as like, it's something that can boost you to a particular point in your life, if you allow it and you learn how to use it as a tool, like, I don't know, I think that's powerful, much more powerful way of looking at it.
No, I agree. You know who's the greediest with money?
Who's that?
The Fed. Anyway, they want all that. They want to keep increasing the tax rate. Abolish the minimum wage. All right, let's go. Who's next?
I got a thought of the week. My thought of the week, and this is through the context of the fact that I just started, working a full-time job. And I will say that this is knowledge based on the fact that I've only worked one full-time job. So, take with that as you will. But I think it's important for a company to invest in their employees to innovate and learn new skills. Because so at my company, there is like built-in time throughout every month throughout the year where people who are, seem like they're low, like bottom of the ladder employees, they're given time to teach themselves a new skill or build something that could potentially be shown to execs or other people in the company. And that could become a product of the company. And I think it's really important because one, it will make employees happy because they will have the ability to get away from maybe the day-to-day tasks, and maybe they're working on things that they don't particularly care about. They can like learn a new domain. And I also think it makes, the broader company happy because it allows for more innovation. And I feel like based on what I perceive, that's a much newer idea than how like full-time jobs used to be. It's much more, you come in, you do the tasks, and then you go home, and that's about it. And if you're a low, like bottom of the ladder employee, like you don't have a say in anything until you get to the top or until you rise to a certain point. And I think if everybody's given some creative space at some point and it's seen as an investment by the company, you're going to be much better off in an output, from an output perspective as well, and also like maintaining employees. Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about how important it is for people to learn new things and explore. And I think in the context of business, it makes a lot of sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
That's what I was going to
I
ask.
agree. Yeah.
That's my question. It seems kind of obvious. Like, you take care of the parts. It's like, I don't know, having a car and then being like, well, I don't really want to take care of the tires. They don't really contribute that much. They're low.
They don't make my car faster.
I don't. Yeah. I don't want to maintain this car, all the pieces of the car, so the car falls apart, or at least just doesn't perform as well as it could. So that company, there's an interesting question, like where that lack of respect for that is, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it would be some sort of greed thing, like on like individual levels. People are like, oh, I want a little more for myself, and so that ends up just kind of hoarding stuff at the top. I don't know if there's anything to that.
I just think that's so silly though. Like if the company thrives more, what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats, right? So let's say an exec position wants more pay. They have, I guess, if we want to view it as a binary situation, they have two options. One option would be don't pay the little guy, don't invest in the little guy. Let him or her struggle. And if they don't cut it, just kick them out. Why would we give them time to develop their skills on the clock? They need to develop their skills off the clock. They need to go figure that out. I'm already skilled. I'm just gonna take that money for myself. Why do we need to give it to them? Or you could say, let's invest in all areas of the business, because if this machine is more efficient, what does this machine do more of? Revenue. And if this machine makes more revenue and it's a well-run business, we could probably increase our profit margin over time, especially if we have these people who are investing in new skills, and now they're able to bring something that's going to make this a little bit more efficient, a little bit more cost efficient. But we can cut back on this, that, or the other process, because this person was able to check in and have some time to themselves and simmer on something on company time. So it's still their job. So, an incremental improvement in profitability will hopefully mean higher salaries, or at least ability to have higher salaries for everyone. So I agree with everyone. And it seems like a silly thing if it's like, if there's anyone thinking at a top of an organization that the lower people shouldn't be paid as much because the top people won't get paid, it's like, dude.
Yeah, and I feel like
so backwards.
Today, I'm more optimistic on where that's the case. It's more of just because that's how it's always been, and less because somebody is, some exec is sitting in a chair and like, pattering his fingers together saying like the little guy doesn't know squat. I think maybe at some point in the history and the timeline that was the case, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case today. I think it's just because that's what history told us. It's the same reason people go to college. It's the same reason people go to college. Oh, that was weird. I could just hear myself. It's like the same reason people go to college is because it was like, it's always been that way. That's how we learn a new skill. That's how we, get better at something. But like, that's not necessarily the case anymore. In a lot of industries, like you can learn something by not going to college. And in a company, the little guy, the guy that just started out, might have something that somebody at the top might not have. So everybody has.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
Yeah,
they have to. Like, come on, they do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
I don't.
It sounds different now. My iPad was about to die.
I knew it.
Yeah, I don't assume that there's any one person or people at any given point. I think it's just incentives. I think
Sure.
when things get large and things are very complex systems, there's just incentives. And if you kind of zoom in on stuff, it's like, in most cases, you're probably going to say, at least I understand why that person makes this decision. And it's not at any person, but the aggregate, death by 1,000 cuts, again, like that ends up being a certain effect on, it looks a certain way from top dynamic to down dynamic. But that is just why you should question everything all the time. Just do the most efficient thing at any given time, whatever the best thing you can do is. So you look at things like, hey, we've been running a company like this. Well, if we did this, just being open to that question is better than not.
Yeah.
I heard this. There's an investor named Ray Dalio. If anyone knows who he is, he calls this an idea meritocracy, meaning the idea with the most merit wins out in any organization that is actually worth something that can last for years and years and years, that's going to achieve great things. So yeah, it's not one person's ideas. It's the ideas of the collective of all the people, and everyone has a say. Whoever brings the best idea to the table and everyone agrees upon it, that's what we go with. We don't go with some archaic view of XYZ process for how to do things. Like, there's probably a better way. Anyway, Josh, what's your thought of the week, or your thought of forever, since this is your first time?
If you have one.
You don't have to have one.
Yeah.
It's corny. I love my son.
Man, I also love your son.
Thought to have,
dude. I'm glad. I'm glad that you know my son.
Me too.
Yesterday I just had a moment with him last night, and it's just one of those times where you just kind of get a little caught up and a little deeper into, I was just looking at him. It's like, man, you're here. You are here right now. You exist and you're the shit. And I was just talking to him like this, like no baby talk, no nothing. I was just like, I can't believe this. And he was like, he was getting excited. It's like, he's just reading
like, yeah, man. That's
he's
me,
reading
brother.
my vibes. Yeah. It was just a nice moment. That's my thought of the week. That's the thing that has been running it back, and I'd like to run it back more in my mind.
It's probably better thought than Sean and I's. Definitely
That's
more
a beautiful
wholesome than
thought.
Sean and
Yeah,
I's.
I love it.
That is a beautiful thought. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, makes me happy. That's good.
I appreciate you guys. Appreciate
absolutely.
the time.
This was super fun.
Yeah.
You are you're tied. You're tied for best guest ever out of our 4 guests. Okay?
What? Oh,
You're in a perfect 4-way tie. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know how that happens, but you know, it is what it
It's
is.
impressive. As the
It is
number gets
impressive.
higher, you know.
you guys talking to some
Everyone-
quality people.
Yes,
Yes, that is
You
true.
guys
exactly right.
spending your time quality.
I agree.
I would
Our
agree with
moments. HomeBiotic,
There
make
it
your home
is.
less moldy. Cloud Music Suite, make your brain less small. Go learn some music from some beasts. Got some very respectable instructors over there. So
That's right.
if you want to learn an instrument, go learn an instrument. And yeah, I think we're good. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'll say the podcast spiel. You know, if you're on YouTube,
Oh yes.
you should make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment any of the answers to those hypotheticals. Yeah, and if you're listening to us on Spotify, we have a YouTube channel. Come watch us. There's a visual. If you're on YouTube, we have a Spotify. So check us out in the description. And thank you guys for
Beautiful.
listening.
Thank you. I always forget about those types of things.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for listening. Thank you, Josh, for joining us.
Thank you
It's
so
an
much,
absolute
Josh.
pleasure in this format. Yes, I appreciate it. It's been your best friends. Have a great night.